September is rushing by, and I do not know how this is happening, but somehow we are nearly into October. We have officially passed into the season of fall, and it does still feel as though summer is fighting for its final days of 2024 before allowing autumn to completely encompass everything around us and change the colors, change the weather, change all of the things. In the same way, I feel my heart is constantly wanting to rush into the next exciting thing and project, event, experience, while also wanting to stay right here in the now and rest, take life slowly, and soak up all that there is to be enjoyed in this season of life. If you were here for last week's video, then you might recall I was cleaning out a lot of our house, decluttering, an intense amount of decluttering for the sake of a large multifamily yard sale that we had last weekend. As with most yard sales, I would say that it didn't go over super well. We sold some things that otherwise would have just been given away, but I was most excited to have sold our china cabinet. I had told myself at the beginning of the day that if I sold nothing other than that china cabinet, I would be willing to call it a win, because I have loved that cabinet. It's served us many purposes around our house. It's been in several rooms in our house, but it was time for it to go. It was just adding a lot of clutter. I wanted our home to feel a bit more simple, and so I really got rid of some furniture pieces that I've been holding on to. And I did not want to just give that one away, so I was glad. I mean, I still only made $40 off of it, but it was better than nothing. So I was excited by that. And now we are moving forward with trying to figure out how to set up this house in a way that is cozy, in a way that is inviting, in a way that is restful and peaceful for our hearts, and hopefully in a way that will last, because it is functional and because it is purposeful and beautiful. Additionally, we are working around my kitchen a little bit on some different dinners and meals and added little projects. And lastly, I am trying my best to stick to a capsule wardrobe for this fall season. So I'm cleaning out my closet, changing out some summer to fall clothes, and just trying to really hone in on a particular color palette and style that I can use this fall season to help reduce decision making, to help reduce space needed, and just to really make life easier. I've really been trying to figure out how to make on the go honey for my hot tea. I've been battling fall allergies for several weeks now. I do elderberry syrup pretty much every day. It's just the simple fact that I teach pre-K, and I am constantly talking over several students, and then I sing always once a week, sometimes twice a week. I help lead worship at our church, so there's just a lot of strain usually on my voice coupled with the allergies. I just really need to be able to take hot tea on the go with me, but I have not been a hot tea drinker for long, and I cannot do it without honey. So I'm just trying really hard to figure out a good way to do that. I tried to heat it and then put it into silicone ice cube molds or candy melt molds, and then I ended up putting it in the freezer because it cooling on the counter just wasn't helping it to harden up. I went back and forth on this for quite a while because I know that by heating it you lose a lot of the beneficial enzymes, but I ended up settling on the fact that I'm just using this as a sweetener. If it adds any kind of benefit to my tea, that's great, but either way it helps my throat to feel better. So for this specific use, that's good enough for me. But as I start to focus on this living room refresh, I wanted to give you a before shot. This was before the china cabinet, arts and crafts cabinet that you see beside the fireplace was sold in the yard sale. This was before some shelves were moved out. The cube shelves, I placed one in each of the girls' rooms, one for closet purposes and one for toy purposes. And then the 2-shelf wooden bookcase, it got moved to the kitchen and is actually holding like my Dutch ovens and cast irons and crock pots and things that were just really making life difficult by being in cabinets kind of stacked on top of one another. I'm really loving that so far. It's super functional. So then I once again rearranged my entire living room. This is nothing new for me. I do this often. I'm really hopeful that this will be one of the very last times that I have to keep moving things around in order to feel like they are where they're supposed to be. Our living room has always been a struggle for me since we moved in over 2 years ago. One, because we have 2 toddlers. Whenever we first moved into this house, we had 1 toddler and one 1-week-old. So they evolve so much over that amount of time, and it's just hard to be doing things in the kitchen and to not have a clear line of sight to the living room. So I've often felt like I could not put the couch perpendicular and create like a division. I needed to be able to see straight through at all times to keep an eye on things. I'm hoping that now we have outgrown that a little bit. Hopefully they should know better, at least. And then I have also always found this room to be a challenge because it is long and it is narrow. It is also kind of our entryway. The front door of our house comes into the living room. We live in a brick ranch home. It's a very standard floor plan for, I feel like, around where we are. I don't know if that's everywhere, but at least where we are, it's very typical. I just don't see it a lot on Pinterest or YouTube, so I have a hard time getting an idea of what is both functional and pretty in this type of space. However, I'm not complaining. I like getting to be creative without any kind of ideas that are inspiring me, because then I feel like I'm truly, like, if I like something, it's because I actually like it and not just because I got the idea from somewhere else. So I am hopeful that this is going to be it. This is going to be the time that it really comes together and it sticks. Another thing I've been noticing throughout my entire house is that we like to put stuff on counter spaces. Like, even when counter spaces are clearly designated for other things, the kitchen counter spaces are designated for cooking and kitchen things, but we like to put everything on them. My sewing corner in our bedroom, that counter is clearly designated for sewing, but we put all kinds of stuff on them. So the long desk buffet in our kitchen was always a catch-all. Like, it had some kitchen things on it, but it was most often a place where we just sat stuff that did not belong there because we were too lazy or whatever to not put it where it goes, or it didn't have a place, whatever it was. I was just tired of it. So it is now in the living room, which we do not walk through for everything. So I'm hopeful that it will serve a better purpose there and not be so junky. Along with the on-the-go honey tablets that I'm trying to make, I wanted to make some on-the-go tea bags. So I use loose leaf herbs that I source from herbco.com, and I talked about that in last week's video. I shared this tea recipe in last week's video as well. I'll link that on a card here and in the description box below. But I just wanted to start with 5 of these bags. These are mostly used for church, either on Wednesday nights or Sunday mornings, Sunday afternoon. So I typically am carrying coffee with me to school in the mornings, and then I'll do tea in the evening. But if I feel like I need an extra dose of something to coat my throat and help with allergies, then I'll take tea. So I'm starting with 5. We'll see how it goes. I just really love being able to make my own combinations in order to combat the specific needs that we have in our household and our family. As I've mentioned before, I am very much craving simplicity in the current season of life. We have a lot of responsibilities, a lot of things that we have committed to, and taken upon ourselves very much willingly. We are 100% responsible, and so I'm not complaining. I love all of the things that we're involved with, but with that, I want to be able to do them all very well. And in order to kind of keep all of these plates spinning that I feel like we have going right now, I need simplicity in my house. I need less to manage in my decisions. I need less of those to make. And so with that comes a capsule wardrobe. I know that this idea has been around for a long time. I considered doing it several years ago, like 7 or 8 years ago. Never actually implemented it. I didn't have a reason to, really. It was just something fun and cool. But now I really feel a need. I redid our master closet over the summer, but with that I ended up decreasing our closet space for clothing by about half. And if you were here for that, then you know that it's also our laundry room and our bulk pantry and our utility room. So I had good reason, and it made the space much more functional. But especially with fall and winter clothing being a bit more bulky and just heavy, I need to scale down what I have. And I have just always struggled to know what to keep and what not to keep, because I like a lot of stuff. And for me, it's like, well, that looks very fallish and that's a cute pattern and this, that, or the other. But then whenever it comes down to it, I don't actually wear it. I just like it. And I know that there's many different strategies for getting rid of things like this. But for me, I chose to just stick with a specific color palette and certain types of clothing that could all be mixed and matched. So it ended up looking like a lot of neutrals, a couple of floral midi skirts, and then throwing in like some rust and navy or dusty blue colors. I do have a small order of some basic items coming in the mail in the next couple of weeks. I might update you guys on that when the time comes, but I'm very eager to see if this works out well for me. I would love to have a different capsule for every couple of months and then just keep them in small storage bags under my bed or something and pull them out so it feels like I get a whole new wardrobe every few months. But we'll see. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself yet.
Oh, Violet the dog?
Yeah. Yeah, I want a cocker. Kill.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I look like I look. Mommy, where's a cocker?
They are right now.
Mommy, look where we look at a kill. A cocker.
It's not your unicorn.
Why?
It's my unicorn. Your unicorn's in your room.
You said it to her.
I said Miss Stephanie will probably have
Yeah.
update on these honey drops. It was not very successful. I mean, they did harden up in the freezer, but then I literally, as you can see, I just broke a nail trying to get it out of the mold. So I was trying to do this with things that I had at my house. I should probably just order some of the honey sticks or something, but I also don't want to use a whole bunch of sugar to accomplish what I'm trying to accomplish. So I don't know. I need to look into some different recipes. Stay tuned.
Don't touch it. Yeah, we're about to go into the car.
I'm always in such awe and admiration whenever YouTubers do like a whole room makeover and they've just got it all envisioned and planned out. They have everything that they need for the room. That's just not me. Like, I've tried to do that before, and by the time I get like 2/3 of the way through it, I have more ideas, and then I don't have everything that I want for the final product. It's definitely a me issue. But all of that to say, this is not going to be the final product of my living room refresh. It is just a large piece of it. We have remodeled, I have stamped all the walls, and then now I'm just kind of shopping my own home, which, if I'm honest, I'm a little bit too good at, and that's why I move things around so much. That's also why I only hang things with thumbtacks. That's a rule in our house. I'm only allowed to hang things with thumbtacks. But I ended up coming up with these little gallery corners using most of what we had. There's a couple of gaps that I still need to fill in, and so I'll be kind of searching for things to go there or coming up with things to make. And then I've ordered a couple of wall shelves to go on the wall behind our couch, kind of where the globe is. And then I'm still constantly waiting on the right couch situation. So I'm leaning heavily towards reupholstering our couch, but I also would love a second couch. I would love to have a sleeper sofa or a futon, something like that, to kind of serve as a guest bed for when we have guests come over. Anyways, I'm trying not to put too much pressure on it. I'm just letting it come together naturally, as my husband would say, and taking the process slowly. And I hope that this serves as a reminder that home is ever changing and ever evolving. It's not something that happens overnight. It's not something that happens instantaneously whenever you move into a home. But I just have to constantly remind myself that Pinterest homes are beautiful and they are picture worthy, but they did not get like that overnight, and there's a really good chance that they aren't staying that way forever. So I hope that that encourages you. It definitely encourages me to know that these things are not eternal. There is definitely holy work that can and that should be happening within the walls of our homes, but we will not be able to take the materials of our home with us. So I rest in that, and I find such peace in that. I'm thankful for it. I hope you've enjoyed this, and I hope you're having a great day wherever you're at. Happy final days of September to you and yours, and I'll catch you next time. Bye, guys.